Hey everybody, this is Ian.
And I'm Rhett.
And this is the n.W.bro Wrestling Podcast.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our second episode of our new wrestling podcast that we got started. Really enjoyed doing the first episode, and we look forward to doing many, many more. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started talking about some wrestling. And we're actually going to go ahead and start off talking about a little bit of New Japan Pro Wrestling. As many of you probably know, there was a big pay-per-view last Sunday, Sakura Genesis 2017. I've actually heard several people pronounce it Sakura Genesis.
I mean, it's Japanese.
It's Japanese. I've always pronounced it Sakura.
Sakura.
So whatever.
Sakura
Anyway,
Genesis.
Sakura Genesis 2017, big pay-per-view. Not going to talk so much about the pay-per-view itself, because we've only been watching New Japan since Wrestle Kingdom of this year. So the truth is, we just don't feel just really like we're confident enough, like we know enough about it to just go into a detailed recap of what actually happened on the pay-per-view. So we're basically going to talk about what was easily the match of the night. Easily the match of the night, as well as probably the second best match. Well, not probably, hands down the second best match I've seen all year. The first also being New Japan, which was Omega and Okada at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
But just going through the card here, the main thing I can see worth noting before you get to the main event is that we did have one title change hands, and that was War Machine of Henson and Rowe winning the IWGP Tag Team Championship and their Ring of Honor tag team. So I don't predict that they'll hold them for a long time, but I got new tag team champs.
It was a good match, though.
It was a good match. Well, this whole card was
a
really
good card.
This whole show.
I like War Machine just in general. I think they're a pretty good little tag team. Definitely not little. Let me
no, that. Lord no.
Definitely a big tag team.
There's nothing little about this tag team.
But I like them. I think they put on a good show. The beard thing's a little weird, but other than that,
it fits their gimmick.
Yeah,
but they're very agile for some big dudes.
They are.
Which one was it? It was I guess it was Raymond Rowe that was doing. Didn't he do like a moonsault or something at one point?
That,
yeah. So, but yeah, they kind of won us over a little bit at the what's the last show we watched? Honor Rising, I think it was, not one.
Yeah.
When they wrestled Young Bucks.
Yeah.
And they kind of won us over a little bit. Then they put on a pretty good show. So yeah, we got new tag team champs. As far as the other championships that were defended, the junior heavyweight tag team title, the never open weight championship, the junior heavyweight championship, all those the champions retained. So none of those swapped hands. But we'll go ahead and talk about
matches though.
Yeah, like I said, the entire card. One thing I've noticed about New Japan since we've been watching, we've seen a few pay-per-views at this point. I went back, watched plenty of older matches with like Nakamura and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. New Japan just puts on a really good show, and their wrestling matches, even if you don't know who they are just really fun to just sit down and watch. I mean, they're from start to finish. The pay-per-views we've watched so far have been a lot of fun just to sit down. I mean, I'm like, it's got me hooked in. From start to finish. I don't even know who most of these people are. I'm more familiar with them now than I was back during Wrestle Kingdom. But yeah, we didn't miss a second of Wrestle Kingdom. We watched that from start to finish, and we enjoyed every minute of it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and go into the main event, which was against Katsuyori Shibata. I'm probably going to fuck these pronunciations up, so forgive me. But Katsuyori Shibata taking on the champion Okada. I don't know how you say his Kazuchika Okada. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okada. It was Shibata versus Shibata. Yeah. Shibata versus Okada. Okada being the reigning champ. Of course, Shibata earned his way into it by winning the New Japan Cup about a month ago or so. He beat Bad Luck Fale in the finals and earned a shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. This match went on for about 39 minutes, about 40 minutes, give or take. And again, this was... I think the key factor here, honestly, is Okada, because you think about the two best matches we've watched all year. Okada's been a part of both of those, and I heard his match against I forget who he took on at New Beginnings or whatever it was, but I heard that was a good match too. We didn't get to see that, unfortunately. But
I don't know, man. Like, I love Okada, and he puts on a good show, but I think both the matches that we've watched have been mainly Omega in that first one and mainly Shibata in this one. Like,
yeah, from an offensive standpoint, but Okada knows how to make them look really good.
I'm not going to say the same from an offensive standpoint either. I'm just saying I just think that Shibata and Omega both could sell just a little bit better. Yeah. But something I've noticed just watching New Japan, what little we have, is all the matches leading up to like the main event are usually they're kind of shorter matches. None of them are super long for the most part, but they're, like you said, they're fun. They're fun short little matches. But then you get to the main event, and it's usually like 40-50 minutes long. And the reason it's not like a slugfest the whole time. It's like a it's very methodical. Like, especially towards the beginning, like honestly, I'll say this, beginning of the Omega Okada fight, I was a little bored at the beginning, just because it was so methodical.
Well, I share that, and I was kind of bored at the beginning of this one.
I was about to say, I kind of felt the same way about this one, but it wasn't as bad because I was telling myself this is going to pick up in just a few minutes. And sure enough, it did. Like, it got really, really good, and it was a fantastic match from start to finish, even if they do start a little slow.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's one thing that this match and the Omega match has in common. And for all we know, most main events might start off like this. Like I said, we haven't been watching a whole lot. But yeah, they start off very slow, very just, each opponent kind of gauging each other, kind of get, holds here and there, grappling. Nothing just really exciting. Nothing, they're not really showing off any spectacular moves or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as the match progresses, it starts just gradually getting more and more exciting. And then by the time you get to like the final 20 minutes, 15 minutes of the match, it's just nonstop, just back and forth. And honestly, I hate to say that I'm bored because I don't think it's so much of a boredom as it is just, you're just waiting for it to kind of pick up.
Yeah, that's the way it was this time.
You're anxious for it to pick up because you know that's where it's going to get to.
Yeah, that's the way it was this time. During the Omega one, I didn't know. So as soon as it started, I'm like, this is starting really slow, and I'm like, what's going on? But then it picked up. I was like, oh, okay, never mind, 6-star match.
Yeah,
but
starts slowly becoming a fantastic match. Speaking of stars, Dave Meltzer gave this one a 5-star review, and it earned it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Okada retained, so Shibata did not. From what I can understand, he's not won the big title in New Japan yet. I don't know if he's won it anywhere for that matter, because I don't know where else he's been besides New Japan and his brief MMA stint that he went through. But Okada did retain, but man, not without a fight. I mean, in fact, Shibata beat the shit out of Okada this entire match.
Shibata beat the shit out of himself.
That he did. My favorite part of the match, which is also the most dangerous part of the match, if you take it from a wrestler safety viewpoint, is there was a spot where Shibata hit Okada with this just huge headbutt, and you could hear it. Like, you could hear the like smacking of the skulls. Okada falls down to his knees, and then like Shibata kind of gets up and slowly looks at the crowd as blood's running down his face, as if like he knows he's fixing to win this championship. Like, he's letting the crowd know, hey, watch this, because I'm fixing to take this gold.
Yeah.
And like that, from that moment on, I was pulling for Shibata because I haven't watched, with our limited viewing of New Japan so far, I didn't really have a favorite going into this match. I just was hoping for a good match, but by that moment onward, that's when Shibata won me over. Now, evidently, that headbutt didn't come without consequence, because there's a lot of, he was hospitalized after the match. Dave Meltzer has 3 sources in New Japan, and through none of them was he able to confirm whether Shibata actually has a legit injury or if it's just a work, because there's reports coming out that he's got, I can't remember what the term is, but
yeah,
he's got some.
I had it just a minute ago, but you can go on. I'll try to bring
it. It's more or less just some pretty significant damage to his head there. And
I can't remember the term, but I know what it is. It's when blood pulls up between your like brain and the outer like layer of your skull.
Yeah,
like blood's pulling in
there. Yeah, so it's not good. But but no one can quite confirm whether it's real or not. Now, Shibata evidently one of his doctors or his main doctor, somebody said that he doesn't know if Shibata's going to be able to wrestle again. He thinks there's a 50-50 chance that we might have seen Shibata's last match. If that's the case, that's a huge bummer, because I'm just now getting to know this guy, and I would love to see more, and I do not want to see a wrestler just end their career for the sake of having a good match.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not as bad as what it kind of seems like it is.
Yeah.
But I did notice, because after the headbutt, he carried on the match really, really well. But I noticed when he was leaving the ring, trying to walk to the back, he was like falling over the side. I mean, it's hard for him to stand. Like he was stumbling and having to like pull himself back up. I mean, that could have been work.
At the time, I thought it was just him working, but no,
yeah. But now knowing what we know now, it's interesting to think back. Like, was that him being legit or what? So hopefully Shibata's okay. But yeah, hell of a match. He literally kicked the shit out of Okada all night, and just it looked like it was his to take. I think he took a total of 3 Rainmakers from Okada.
Yeah.
He took 1 Rainmaker and just stood there, and Okada like fell down. It's like he just absorbed it, and it's like it made him stronger. Like he was just hulking out or something. And that was cool because I mean, New Japan really protects the Rainmaker. Like they make it look like it's one of the most devastating finishers in the business. And really all it is just a wrist lock lariat. I mean, it's just a roll out clothesline, more or less. And so it's not really anything spectacular, but the way Okada pulls it off and the way the opponents usually sell it, because they usually flip when they get hit by it, it makes it look amazing. So, but yeah, Shibata took about 3 of them, and we just knew when he took that 3rd one, because he took 1 and Okada kept onto it, like kept hanging onto his wrist and wouldn't let go. So we knew he was fit to get up and try. He was fit to take another one, which he got up and kicked Okada, but Okada didn't let go, and then he was able to hit him with another Rainmaker. And at that point, we just knew it was done. So it was a shame to see Shibata lose because we were really, really pulling for him. But Okada he's a pretty protected, celebrated champion of New Japan, so it wouldn't surprise me if he hangs on to it for a little while longer.
Oh yeah.
And for Shibata's sake, we really hope he's okay. So yeah, recover, get better, and just maybe tone it down a notch. You don't have to be so stiff.
Well, that's what he's known for, though.
I know, but you could still tone it. You could still be stiff, and not be that stiff as he was during this match. It made a very awesome to watch match, but at what price? Which we don't know. We don't know for sure yet. Hopefully he's back on his feet. He'll be ready to come back for like the G1 or something. I don't know, but who knows? So hopefully he's okay.
But it was a subdural hematoma is what he has.
Okay.
Supposedly.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would never want to have.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, great match. Definitely earned its 5 stars. Now after the match, Shibata went backstage, kind of had to be helped a little bit and kind of got back there in his own power. But after the match, Okada grabbed the mic like he was fixing to make some kind of announcement or something, and he gets attacked by Bad Luck Fale. And Bad Luck just beats the shit out of him, grabs the mic and says, "You want to fight? I'll give you a fucking fight." And the announcers acted like it was just set in stone, like he's the next #1 contender for the championship. So, evidently, in New Japan, if you want a championship, just beat the fuck out of the champion after a match, and then tell him, "Hey, it's me next." And there you go.
I'm just gonna show up to a New Japan show.
We should
just beat the shit out of We should just go and beat the shit out of War Machine.
I was gonna say Young Bucks, but sure, we can just take on War Machine. Take down the biggest dog in the yard first.
And we'll be the tag team.
We'll be the tag teams?
We'll be the tag teams. All of them. Every tag team.
Great. But I will say one thing I kind of like about... It's something I like and then partially dislike about New Japan is the way they treat their title matches that I've noticed so far is you basically get one shot. And if you don't get that title during that one match, then you're going to have to kind of just work your way back up to it. WWE... if you're #1 contender and you lose the pay-per-view against the champion, there's a strong chance it's going to be a rematch at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So
they even have a rematch clause. It's like what it's called.
Well, the champion does, but I don't think the challenger does.
Oh.
Yeah, like the champion, if you lose your championship, you have a rematch clause. But if you're just a #1 contender and you don't win, then you don't, but you more or less kind of do because you're going to just stay in that title picture until you either just win it or kind of fade out of it. Most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time that's how WWE does it. But New Japan, like I said, it's one and done. You kind of have to work your way back up to it. Unless you're Bad Luck Fale, which, he was in the finals of the New Japan Cup. So I guess, technically, depending on how you look at it, he might be the next guy up anyhow. But, so we'll see. I mean, that's why you hadn't seen a rematch between Omega and Okada yet, because he won the new G1 Climax last year, finally faced off at Wrestle Kingdom, and hasn't been back in the title picture since.
Nope.
But wouldn't surprise me if we don't see him back by the end, sometime this year.
So. He did say this was his year.
He did say it, but Adam Cole did too. But then again, we haven't seen Adam Cole in New Japan since he said that.
Yeah.
So, Who knows? And since then, he's lost his Ring of Honor championship, and so not off to a good start for Adam Cole, baby. But anyway, yes, fantastic pay-per-view, fantastic main event. I'm so psyched for New Japan. I'm so glad we started watching this. I wish we had started watching it sooner, especially back when like Prince Devitt, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, these people that we know now. Well, we always knew AJ Styles, but like especially in the case of like Finn Balor and Nakamura, we didn't know them till they came over to NXT. Yeah. And going back and watching their previous matches in New Japan, I wish I was a fan back then. Like I wish I would have watched all that live, especially Wrestle Kingdom 10. What was it, 9 or 10 that Nakamura and Styles fought for the Intercontinental Championship?
I think that was 9.
I think it might have been 9 as well. Might have been 9 or either way.
We just watched 11.
I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year because it was right before they debuted in WWE. Okay. Right, it was like the last match they had before they debuted in WWE. Okay. So, and that's a fantastic match. We've went back and watched that since then. So New Japan is legit. We're definitely fans. We're gonna watch more of it. I can't wait for the next pay-per-view because it's in Japan. Like their weekly shows, I can't really watch as much, but the pay-per-views usually happen on a weekend, so we can usually catch that.
Yeah, word.
So yeah, so that's New Japan. Okada's still your champion. Probably will be, because I don't see Bad Luck Fale taking it from him.
I don't know. Like, I think it would be kind of neat to see a Bad Luck and Omega feud.
There was a little tension in their tag team match earlier in that night. Yeah, so who knows? I still don't see it happening.
I don't either.
Considering the talent that Okada's beat so far since during this reign, I don't see Bad Luck Fale taking it from him.
The one.
But who knows? I mean, nobody saw Lesnar beating the streak, so anything can happen in the world of pro wrestling. So okay, that's our little New Japan segment. We're gonna move on to WWE and the Superstar Shakeup. Now this is what everybody's been talking about. Everybody's been stupid excited about it.
But we shouldn't be talking about the Superstar Shakeup. We should be talking about Kurt Hawkins.
You're right. He made a strong impression on both Raw and SmackDown. He wasn't on SmackDown this week. It was last SmackDown I was thinking of, where he got beat up. So
but that's what he said.
Either way, I know that's what he said. Yeah. But we're going to go ahead and talk about Monday Night Raw first, kind of go through some results, some recaps. Now, we start Monday Night Raw off with John Cena's music hitting, and John Cena and Nikki Bella are on Raw now. What do you think about that, bro?
It was crazy. It was definitely them.
Cena's it looks like he's slimmed up a little bit since we saw him at WrestleMania, and Nikki Bella's looking a little bit weirder. I don't know, but no, it's Cena's music hit, but the Miz and Maurice came out dressed as them, like Cena and Bella, like they've been doing, even though that feud should, for all intents and purposes, be done. But
that's their gimmick now. It's Miz Cena.
They're like the Shang Tsung of WWE. They're just gonna dress up as different superstars every week when they come out.
Yeah, and use their moves.
So they come out, and they're basically the same thing they did on SmackDown the week before. And they're talking crap about Cena and Bella. And then Dean Ambrose, Intercontinental Champion, comes out, which at that point, I don't know about you, but to me it became painfully obvious whenever you find out that the Intercontinental Champion's on Raw, that we're going to see Owens on SmackDown. Yeah. So they kind of gave away 2 picks with one when they introduced Dean Ambrose. But did I say Seth Rollins before?
I think so, but it's okay.
Shit.
It was Dean Ambrose.
It was Dean Ambrose.
The other members.
Shield members. They all look exactly the same.
They're all the same.
But so Dean Ambrose comes out, and he's out there, and he's doing kind of funny Dean Ambrose. He's saying, Cena, Bella, Nikki, I'm glad to see you guys. Glad to see some familiar faces around here. Congratulations on your engagement. And I'm glad it's you guys and not Miz and Maurice, because they suck and all that sort of stuff. And then Miz takes off his hat, Maurice takes off her wig, and you're like, idiot, it's us. And Ambrose is like, okay, well in that case, and then hits Miz with the dirty deeds. So, pretty fun opening to start off Raw. You revealed 3 of their transition wrestlers already. So yeah, we start off Raw announcing that Miz and Maurice and Ambrose are on Raw now, have swapped over. Immediately after that, got another little backstage segment with Kurt Angle and Sami Zayn, where more or less Zayn's talking about how excited he is to be there with Kurt, and Kurt's saying that there's a lot of interest from SmackDown to have you over there, and you can see Zayn kind of lets that go to his head. He's like, oh, okay, they want me on SmackDown. Let's see how that goes. Of course, Miz and Maurice they walk in, they start getting in Kurt's face about what just happened with Ambrose. Kind of leads to a little tension between Zayn and Ambrose, and Zayn and Miz. And of course, Angle says, just like he did last week, stop doing this backstage stuff, get out in the ring and settle this. So that sets up a Sami Zayn and Miz fight for later on in the night. After that, we have New Day, which consists of Xavier Woods, Big E, and a blow-up doll meant to represent Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, that was weird.
that Big E kind of grinded on a little bit during their entrance. I don't think he meant to do that. I don't think he knew it looked like that, but to me, he kind of had it right in front of him, and he's doing that little hip thrust thing that he does.
It was a little strange.
It was a little weird. Of course, the story is that, in reality, Kingston needs ankle surgery. They wrote him out last week when the Revival debuted and broke his ankle, quote unquote. So he's out for ankle surgery. They come out talking about the Revival and how they kind of broke Kofi's ankle and messed with their ice cream cart and all that sort of stuff the week before. Of course, that brings up the Revival. There's a rematch between the New Day and the Revival from last week.
Decent little match.
Not too bad, but Revival goes over again. So they're booking Revival strong, as they should, in their Raw debut. I mean, they've got 2 wins over the longest reigning tag team champions already. So that's not a bad start to your main roster career, if I do say so myself. Immediately following that, let's see here.
Had an interview with Neville.
Yes, had the interview with Neville between him and TJ Perkins. TJ, Charlie, the interview girl, was interviewing Neville, and he's saying nobody's on his level. No one's going to compete with him for his Cruiserweight Championship. Enter TJ Perkins, who says, don't be so sure about that. You haven't seen what I can do. You haven't been in the ring with me yet. And then Neville breaks him down and kind of says, you were our first Cruiserweight champion, but what have you done since then? You've been... The opportunities you should be given are being given to Austin Aries. He's taking your opportunities. Of course, Austin comes in, says Neville's full of shit, and TJ shouldn't listen to him. Neville leaves. He looks at TJ and he says, you're not going to believe this guy, do you? And basically, without saying a word, TJ just reveals that, he's going to buy into what Neville's dishing. So... Following that, we have the much anticipated...
My main man.
The much anticipated debut, Monday Night Raw debut of Kurt Hawkins. He comes out, tells the crowd to prepare to face the facts because now he is back on Raw. Big Show comes out and decks him.
Just punches him.
Yeah, segment of the night. That's great booking. That's great booking. So, cut to commercial, come back up. Cruiserweight match. I still don't think I said that right. Cruiserweight match. Hard for me to say. Austin Aries versus TJ Perkins. TJ picks up a win. And Neville's on commentary during this match. And
that's the reason TJ picked up the win, with the distraction from Neville.
Yeah, because Austin was showboating in front of Neville. Distracted him long enough for TJ to pick up, I think it was a roll-up or... it was a roll-up for a win. So, I mean... afterwards it looks like TJ and Austin are just kind of like, man, that's a crazy match. Like, TJ's like celebrating. He's like, I got you for the 3 count. And Austin's like, you got me. And as soon as Austin turns his back, TJ turns heel. Has a heel turn. Attacks Austin and more or less turns heel. So, cool. Maybe that'll help. Because TJ Perkins hasn't really been... Honestly, I've never been too interested in TJ Perkins.
I like him. I've just not been super interested in him.
He's a good wrestler, but like his character and like his promos and I don't.
He's too much of a bro character,
I don't like the dabbing.
I mean, that's part of the bro thing I'm talking about. He's just I don't know.
I mean, I'm just saying I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the dabbing.
Yeah.
The video game entrance and stuff was cool the first couple times I saw it, but I'm kind of over it already. Especially if he's going to turn heel, he needs to change that.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, we'll see how this heel turn works out. Maybe it might be the boost that he needs in his career, but I'm going to reserve my judgment on all that until I see more from him. So, following that, we have Seth Rollins announcing his fate on Monday Night Raw. Evidently, he gets, where in a superstar shakeup, where everyone else is getting kind of moved around, he gets to kind of decide for himself what he wants to do. So, he's afraid that because Stephanie took a bump through the table at WrestleMania, that he's going to be like, have opportunities and stuff taken from him.
Yeah, he was afraid that he was going to be getting punished for what happened in a non-sanctioned match.
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah. I completely forgot about that detail. Until you
the whole time that promo was going on, he was in there like, yeah, I'm probably about to get, really punished for what happened in that match. I was like, but why? It wasn't on the cards. Like, it
never happened.
Yeah.
It's not recorded.
Yeah. So, suck it.
I'm afraid I'm going to get punished because Stephanie took a bump through a table during WrestleMania, but it wasn't a real match, so suck it.
And Seth started DX.
Yeah, DX shirt. With Triple H. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
This is weird.
Yeah.
Nah, but he pretty much was just like, he could take the easy road and go to SmackDown and just avoid Stephanie pretty much.
Yeah.
Or
consequences.
He could, avoid
possible consequences that shouldn't exist.
Or he could stay on Raw, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to stay on Raw. He said there was like no freaking way he was wanting to go to SmackDown,
Yeah.
And then Kurt Angle comes out, crowd pops, like they should, because Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
And he says that Stephanie did want him gone, but Angle saw something else and pretty much told Stephanie to shove it. And
pretty much. So as long as I'm here, you'll be here.
Yeah.
Something to that effect anyway.
So
shake hands.
They shake hands, and it appears that Rollins going to stay on Raw. But about that time, when Angle's leaving, Samoa Joe
out of
nowhere comes out and just starts beating the hell out of Rollins. But actually, not really beating the hell.
Yeah, it's kind of a back and forth.
Yeah,
he gets the sneak attack on him, but Rollins starts holding his own, so it's kind of a back and forth. At that point.
But then Angle runs back in and kind of separates them.
Well, he tries.
He tries to. But he separates them for a second.
It didn't keep Rollins from kneeing Samoa Joe out of the ring.
Yeah.
At one point, I just kind of wanted, I just wish, Kurt would have just ripped his shirt off and looked at Samoa Joe and be like, I'll whoop your ass in TNA, and I'll do it again if you don't perform.
That's what he says.
Yeah. So get your Samoan ass back to that.
Well, it's not TNA anymore, it's Impact, so now he can say TNA.
It was TNA. Yeah, you're right. I see your point now. Yeah, it was TNA back then, but now you're talking about, legal copyright. Yeah. So, I don't know. You know how TNA is about that. I mean, look at the broken gimmick.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, Rollins then tries to get Joe to come back in there and fight, but Joe does the cliche heel thing where he's like, oh, you ain't worth it, and leaves.
Yeah.
So
it looks like we're going to get Rollins and Samoa Joe, which is the only direction it needs to head in, because Samoa Joe is the one who injured Rollins before WrestleMania to begin with.
Yeah.
So if he
honestly, it should have been who he fought at WrestleMania, in my opinion. But
technically, yes. Yeah. But they really want to do the Triple H Rollins match, which was a great
kind of
match.
A passing of the torch.
Great match.
Needed to happen,
Yeah. So anyway, after all that fuckery, we move on to Charlie backstage interviewing the United States champion Kevin Owens. Says that she's mentioning who all's come over to Raw so far. Oh, what we forgot to mention was that Apollo Crews was announced before Raw even started that he was on Raw now. So we got Apollo Crews, Miz, Maurice. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's started something good, because he didn't get booked for fuck when he was in SmackDown.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So maybe he'll get more of a chance on Raw. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm just going to kind of wait and see what they do with him. But anyway, so Charlie's interviewing Kevin Owens. I just ask what his opinion is about taking on Chris Jericho at the at Payback. Yada, yada, yada. There wasn't really much to this. He's just talking about how Jericho's a piece of shit and how he's going to retain his title at Payback, more or less. And tells Ambrose not to forget that Kevin Owens is the top champion of Raw.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's that. We move on to Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax. Now this, we talked about when Miz came out. Oh, I'm sorry, Dean Ambrose when he came out, and how that pretty much told us that Kevin Owens was going over to SmackDown. The fact that Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax were having this match on Raw was a clear indicator that one of these two are being moved to SmackDown Live. Because this is a pay-per-view level match they could have had after a feud. Because it looked like they were planting the seeds of a feud. Well, that's been kind of happening over the past couple of months. Especially after last week when they kind of got into a little bit of a scuffle over after their tag team match. So them kind of having this match now told me that one of them's going over to SmackDown. And, as we will reveal later, we weren't wrong about that.
Nope.
But, Yeah, Nia takes the win. Flair loses clean. Now, this match was a couple of kind of bad-looking botches in this match.
Yeah.
First one that comes to my mind is when Charlotte jumped over to the outside and just straight kicked Nia in the face on her way down. And I don't know, like, I don't put so much on that on Charlotte as I do Nia. Like, she does good playing the part of, like, a dominant, just big dominant wrestler, but she kind of needs to brush up on some basics a little bit. Other than that, good match, botches aside. But Nia picks up the win and moves on. Moves on to the World Heavyweight Championship picture. So we'll see how that plays out.
What?
Sorry. This is my fantasy booking.
Oh, okay. After that, we had the Jinder Mahal and Finn Balor, right?
Yeah. Yes, the Demon King versus the world's greatest jobber.
Yeah. Just about the match you'd expect it to be.
Honestly, this match was probably a little bit more evened out than I thought it would. It should have been, because Jinder got some pretty good offense. Well, when you compare this to who did Jinder wrestle last week?
He wrestled
Sammy,
didn't he?
Yeah, he wrestled Sammy.
Yeah.
Compared to that match, I kind of thought Sammy probably looked stronger in his match than Finn did in this one.
To be fair, half this match Finn was having to regain his consciousness because Jinder hit him with a stupid stiff elbow.
We talk about Shibata being stiff. This was the stiffest hit I've seen in a while.
It knocked him out.
Headbutt aside.
Like
it gave him like rug burn on his face.
Yeah, like if you go back and watch, it clocked him. Like he was out for a couple seconds there.
Yeah.
So, but Balor was able to get back up and after that and finish the match.
Coup de grace.
For the
win.
So, but very poor on Jinder to hit that elbow.
Yeah, I mean mistakes happen.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm not sitting here saying it was like on purpose.
No, I know, but it was a very stiff elbow.
Yeah,
you got to watch that when you're in the ring. I mean, I'm not a wrestler, but so I don't know how much room I have to speak on this. But yeah, I mean that was a straight just elbow clock to the neck. I mean that wasn't even like a soft hit or nothing. It was just a straight. Boom. I'm about to shatter your spinal cord.
God.
Hit straight to the neck. But that did lead into probably the rivalry that I'm the most excited about right now on the current
from the shakeup coming
from
out
the
of the
shakeup.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get a video package, not package, but you get Bray Wyatt showing up on the Titantron, saying that he is now on Raw. He's still got unfinished business with Randy Orton to take care of at Payback, which is weird how they're having a SmackDown title match on Payback. But anyway, that's Payback being a Raw exclusive pay-per-view. But says he's on Raw. Says that Finn Balor should watch himself because Wyatt will be watching him. Definitely seems like he's leading into a feud with Finn Balor, which is a great first main feud with Finn. Well, if you not including Seth Rollins at the SummerSlam. But as far as just like a main roster, just back full-time, no injury feud, I am excited to see Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Now, I'm a little bit concerned. Maybe it's a bit too early, but overall, I'm like, no, this is fine.
It is a WrestleMania caliber feud, in my opinion. So it is in that sense, it could be too early. Main thing, I'm not super concerned about this, but Finn was diagnosed with a concussion after Monday.
That's true. I forgot about that.
So hopefully, concussions can be very hit or miss. Like, sometimes they're out for they're back on next week. Sometimes they can be out for a couple weeks. This one, I think he'll bounce back from really quick. I wouldn't be surprised if he's here next week.
Yeah.
But still, how WWE is with their brain injuries.
Even with a concussion, if he's still not going to wrestle next week, he can still do a promo or something. So,
but
thankfully, it's not anything near as serious as his SummerSlam incident.
But it just brings up the fact, though, that since they are doing this weird SmackDown title match on Raw pay-per-view, is there any chance Bray wins that match?
See, this is another concern of mine because I am excited about seeing this feud, but Bray just came off being the World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown. Finally wins a championship and has probably the best run he's had. It wasn't even that good of a run, but it was probably the best he's been booked over the last few years, because he usually loses these big feuds he's had. But he overcame the Elimination Chamber, won the SmackDown title, only for all of us to kind of know that he was probably going to lose it to Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And he did. I don't think he should have. Unless they were planning on him picking that title back up at Payback. I could see that playing out before. If they let Randy take it off him at WrestleMania, but Bray gets it back at Payback. So you get Randy Orton, who won the Rumble and still wins the championship. And then you get Bray Wyatt, who gets it again, and he's at Payback, and he's a 2-time champion. Yeah. And then you can start Bray Wyatt's next run as champion. But no, he's on Raw now. So I really... It's hard for me to picture that they're going to book Wyatt to win this rivalry between Finn Balor. Yeah. So, because Finn Balor is white hot right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, the WWE Universe loves Bray Wyatt, but I don't know. So I think he's going to come off...
Demon King, man.
I think he's going to come off one bad loss straight into another, almost. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe we'll be surprised, but we'll have to wait and see. Other than that, I'm excited about the rivalry. I just don't know if I'm as excited about the result.
I did bring that up to ask one other thing, though. If some crazy way Bray wins the match against Orton, what the fuck do they do? Like, how do they...
Well,
do they move?
He mentioned Roman that. He said when he comes back after Payback, he's going to have He's going to have the title with him. Yeah. So he acted like if he wins the title against Orton at Payback, he's bringing it over to Raw.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, are they going to move Lesnar to SmackDown? Like,
they'd almost have to, because at that point, SmackDown just has the U.S. title.
They don't have a main champion. Like, yeah. That'd be dumb.
Which, I mean, that being said, the U.S. title was mainly the top title on Raw for a long time.
That's true.
Because they didn't have a Universal title for a couple of weeks, and then even when they did, KO, I mean, when Kevin Owens was Universal Champion, they didn't really give him a champion feud. He had the back and forth with Jericho and that sort of thing. So there for a while, the U.S. title was the top title on Raw, whether people care to admit it or not. So we'll just have to wait and see. At the end of the day, well, I don't think we'll have to put too much thought into it. He's not going to win this title against...
Yeah, that's my thoughts too, but you never know. Like, but
I mean, if he did it, it'd be crazy. We'll have to see how they work that out. But I don't see him winning it against Orton at Payback. Which sucks actually, because that kind of, there's officially 2 matches on Payback right now that we know who's going to win it.
Yeah.
So the other one being KO and Jericho for the U.S. title. Which, I mean, we'll get to that momentarily when we start talking about SmackDown. But there's an interesting note with the U.S. title match at Payback. Yeah.
But before we move on, though, there was also in between that match and the next match, they also announced that Kalisto and Heath Slater and Rhino.
Yeah, this is where they announced that Apollo Crews had come over to SmackDown. Actually, they announced it on WWE.com.
Yeah, earlier. They announced it on the website before the show, but they announced it officially on the show here.
And as well as Kalisto and then Slater and Rhino. Kalisto makes a lot of sense, especially with the Cruiserweight division being on Raw. So there's like no reason Kalisto shouldn't be on Raw, so he can participate in Cruiserweight stuff.
You say that, but then one of the SmackDown changes like counters that. But we'll talk about that here in a bit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, because I actually don't, off the top of my head, know who you're talking about.
Okay.
I feel like I should. I just think I'm blanking out.
Anyways.
Wait, I got you. Okay, so anyway, moving on, we have the match against. Actually, before we move on, Kalisto makes sense. Slater and Rhino,
whatever.
I mean, it was exciting when they won the titles, the tag team titles,
SmackDown,
but after they lost them, they just hadn't done shit. So, maybe they'll beat the Revival. Who fucking knows? I don't know.
They'll be the next champions. They're going to beat the Hardys.
God, I would probably quit this podcast if that ends up happening.
I would welcome your loss anyway.
Okay, great.
I'll take it. It'll be a one-man podcast.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be great. That'll blow up.
Yeah.
That'll be great. I don't know why we don't just do that in the first
one-man band.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
We might well consider you just doing that in the first place, because whatever will get us some likes and stuff, that if we think you taking over the show by yourself would help, I'll gladly step aside.
Good. Anyways.
I'll just sit back and...
Brings us into the Miz versus Sami Zayn.
While you're doing your solo podcast.
Shut up. It brings us into the Miz versus Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn wins.
Yeah, it was a match.
It was not a bad match. Not a bad match. I mean,
Sami Zayn, not a great match, but not a bad match.
Well, let's be real here. Sami Zayn has good matches. He loses most of them, but there's a reason why they bring in. There's a reason why Nakamura's first match in WWE was against Sami Zayn, because Sami Zayn knows what to do to really put his opponents over, make them look good to the crowd, and while making himself look strong most of the time. Most of the time. So Sami Zayn's extremely talented. Miz has gotten a lot better. He's come a long way since being the WWE champion. I forget which WrestleMania it was, but when he defended against Cena and Rock interfered, 26, 27, 25, I don't know, 20-something. So he's come a long way since then. He's become a much better wrestler. I'm still not a fan of his character-wise. I don't like Maurice. Like, she seems like she plays bitch really well.
But she's actually super nice in real life.
Are you sure?
I've seen some videos and stuff of her talking just in real life. She seems pretty nice.
Maybe she is, because I'm basing my real life opinion on her off of Total Divas.
Oh, that's still a show too.
That is still a show.
Yeah.
So that might be partially scripted.
They're still in character on that show.
Well, you say that, but they use their real names.
I know, but it's still a WWE product. They're still in character.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But yeah, good match. And Sami Zayn picked up the win for what could possibly be his last Raw match.
Ooh,
I don't know. Who knows?
We'll see.
I'll tell you who knows. Everybody who watches wrestling, because that's already happened.
It's already happened, but
But you're still listening to us talk about it, so stay tuned. You never know what's going to happen. Okay.
We're getting to my favorite part of the night.
This is the best segment I have watched on Monday Night Raw in years.
This is the best promo Roman Reigns has ever cut.
I would have... I liked last week's. We talked about this, but this definitely trumps last week's Roman Reigns segment. So, Ian, go ahead and start us off with this.
All right, so Michael Cole is interviewing Roman Reigns, and they're just like, how's it feel? After you defeated the Undertaker, all that stuff. Everyone's mad at you, blah blah blah. How's it feel? And they pretty much went exactly the way I was thinking they would go. And he stayed baby faces all get out and was just like, oh, it's bittersweet, I beat him and I feel good about it, but, it does suck that I had to do it,
This fist really helps, though.
Yeah,
this really
fist
just takes in absorbs the impact from the punches I take to my torso.
Yeah, but,
I'm so glad Vince lets me wear this SWAT vest.
Yeah, but, so, it's just sitting there, pretty much saying, yeah, I'm still the big dog, but it did suck that I had to do what I had to do. When all of a sudden, Braun Strowman out of nowhere just takes him out, starts beating the ever-living shit out of him.
Crushing his head between the wall and like a crate.
Yeah, didn't he slam him through a table?
I don't think he slammed him through a table.
Yeah, so before slamming him through a table. Yeah, he slammed him through tables.
Yeah, so through tables, ladders, chairs.
Oh my.
Some pipes.
Yeah, he just started beating the crap out of him, and
of course you got referees back there. He'd be like, Strowman, Braun, stop, and he's just like, you guys better back the fuck off. You see how crazy I am? I'm fixing to light you guys up.
So finally, after a long, just solid beatdown, Roman leaves. Not Roman. Roman doesn't leave. God no.
God, is he that protected? Where he just gets up and walks off this ass whooping?
He's just like, whatever.
He's like, I'll see you in the ring later.
Roman leaves.
Main event tonight.
And medics start treating him, and they get him up on a stretcher, and they start to stretcher him out. And when all of a sudden Strowman's back and knocks off all the medics and grabs the stretcher and throws it,
punches on Roman a little bit.
Yeah, punches him a few times and throws the stretcher down the off the parking ramp. The parking ramp, throws it down
the
that
truck ramp,
and Roman flies down and falls over, and
which was very clearly, obviously, like a blow up doll or something.
Yeah,
because the gurney it flies off the ramp and lands face down, where it would just kill whoever was in there. Instead, it's bouncing around, and Strowman's feeling pretty good about himself.
So Strowman's is I'm beating your ass, so he leaves again, and the medics are like, holy shit, and they're sitting there trying to...
Can I point out something that I noticed while watching this segment?
What's up?
Okay, so you got a kind of an older gentleman and a lady, two medics, who were helping him the first time after the first ass whooping.
Yeah.
Put him up on the gurney. Then he gets thrown off the ramp, and the refs are already down there, and they're screaming, where's the paramedics? And you see them come, the opposite direction of the camera. Like, they ran around.
They didn't want to.
I'm fucking sorry, but if I'm a medic and I see my patient get thrown off a ramp like that, I'm hopping off the ramp and going to check on them. But they
didn't want to get in between Strowman.
They went through the lobby and went by the merch tables and then came back around.
But no, yeah, I mean, I did notice that too. But yeah, that's my excuse. Is I wouldn't want to get between Strowman and Reigns, so I'll go around. But
I mean, you could just kind of back up against the wall and just let him pass. As soon as he passes, you can go check on him.
You say that, but then they get Roman into the ambulance, and they're like, strapping him up into the ambulance and everything. When all of a sudden, Strowman comes back again.
I'm not finished with you.
And just
oh my god,
throws the paramedics out of the way, starts beating on Roman a little bit more. Then he closes the doors to the ambulance, gets out. Gets on the side of the ambulance and flips the ambulance with Roman inside.
Damn ambulance.
And after all that's said and done, people are just staring in awe. It's a good 15-minute segment, of just Roman getting utterly destroyed.
It was gold.
It was amazing.
It was gold. Best segment I've seen on Raw in years.
But finally, the commercial hits.
Yeah.
And it comes back from commercial, and it's showing them finally getting Roman in another ambulance, and I thought so bad that we were about to hear Strowman be like, "Wait a minute," and come back.
Where do you think you're going? And he comes back like a chair and starts.
But no, they finally close the doors, and the ambulance leaves, and he's gone. So Roman's safe to live another day.
Roman's out for another 7 to 8 months.
Yeah, hopefully.
What he just went through would kill most people.
But, that brings me to what I wanted to ask you. I think I'd asked you this already, but I wanted to get it on here. Do you think there's a possibility that that's the way they actually do it? Like, they actually have Roman out for a while?
If they plan on turning Roman heel, which at this point I'm not confident.
I'm not confident in it at all.
But if that was a plan to turn them heel, this would be a perfect opportunity to do that. Because, he'll be out with injury. He can come back with a vengeance. Take on Braun. Well, I mean, it'll be two heels against each other because Braun's not going to face turn anytime soon.
The point I'm trying to make, though, is so many people are tired of Roman and want to give a rest to Roman, but we know the plan right now is Roman Reigns and Lesnar at WrestleMania next year, so we know Roman's got to get back into the picture. Do you think that's an idea that they're having, is let's have Roman just not be even involved for a few months?
Here's the thing. Unless he's got a legit injury he needs surgery for or something, I don't think they'll take that route with it because... Yeah. That takes a lot of time to have a perfectly healthy, active superstar just not be on TV.
You're right.
But he's not a part-timer.
And you could still see him. I feel like even with that angle, you could still see him at house shows. Because, we saw Finn at house shows before.
He would still participate in like dark matches and stuff. But, not having him on TV. And he sells merch.
He does.
He does sell merch. So, somebody like that, you want to keep on TV no matter how bad the crowd hates him. Because for whatever reason... It's hard to see this, but it kind of works. Like, we don't like his booking, and we're quite tired of it, and we have having him shove down our throats. But he's making them a lot of money.
Yeah, he is.
So it's working. We just don't like it, So I could see him maybe taking a couple of weeks off or something just to heal up, and then come back. And I don't think, like I said, this would be a great opportunity to turn him heel because he can come back and deliver a more like beyond heelish. Savage beating to Braun Strowman to get back at him over this and just stay heel, Yeah. But what will probably happen is he'll probably show back up on Raw next week, hit Braun with a couple of Superman punches, and close the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but either way, this match or this segment was fan-fucking-tastic.
The best promo Roman has ever cut.
Was it a promo? He was giving an interview and the guy's ass whooped. What was he promoting?
His ass whooping.
His ass whooping? How much of a beating? His fucking vest? How much he can take while wearing that vest?
That's what it's all going to boil down to. He is going to come back at the end of next week's episode, and he's just going to be like, I didn't feel any of that.
His vest going to be like all shredded and shit. Yeah. He'd be like, look at my torso. See any scratches on me? No. So, yeah. Either way, that was great. It was so over the top, so cheesy. And, it's meant to be taken serious. But at the same time, there's no way that WWE didn't realize that this was just beyond ridiculous of a segment. Either way, best segment of the night, best segment of the week, best segment I've seen in years on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was good.
I want to go back and watch it, actually.
But after that, after we had Roman leave on the ambulance and everything, we had Gallows and Anderson and the Shining Stars versus Cesaro and Sheamus and the Hardy Boys in a 4-on-4 tag match.
Yep.
Which is kind of neat because Cesaro and Sheamus and the Hardy Boys are going to be are feuding right now. So
two face teams against each other.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. I don't mind it.
I don't mind seeing face versus face every once in a while.
Yeah, because
it keep it fresh.
Yeah, it keeps it fresh, and also it just makes it feel more, I don't know, realistic in a way.
There's usually like respect and stuff added to it. So.
Absolutely. But nothing super great to light home to here, other than the Drifter showing up during the match.
Who had been us at home got robbed of this privilege, but like evidently he was walking around the arena all night.
Yeah, that's what I'd heard.
There were segments where you could clearly tell the crowd was like focused on something, like somewhere off from away from the ring, but the announcers, nobody ever commented on it. They never showed it. The only time we saw the Drifter was when he walked up on the stage after all the tag teams had made it to the ring. He was there for a minute. Of course, he's got a little bit of history with Corey Graves, because Corey Graves just hates him, like on camera. He might hate him in real life, I don't know. Hates him on camera. So Corey Graves had a little bit of a thing where he's just like, "Oh my God, it's the Drifter. Why is he here?" And I think it was Byron or somebody's like, "Well, probably drifting."
Yeah, probably just drifting.
Then it cuts away, and we didn't hear nothing back
Never
about the rest
anymore.
of
the rest of the episode.
But no, he was there just drifting around the arena, which I'm sure was cool if you were there in person. But like I said, they didn't ever allude to it on camera. On TV, other than just when he showed up on the ring.
But the match itself, nothing great, stupid to great, amazing to about home about.
Good tag team action.
It was a decent tag team match.
I don't know why the Shining Stars are. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it was a weird matchup. But ended with a twist of fate
into a swanton.
Yeah, so that was cool.
And then of course they're shaking hands with Cesaro and Sheamus afterwards, and that's the respect I was talking about. Yeah,
so Cesaro and Sheamus and the Hardys pulled out the win in a match they should have.
There's one thing that comes from this match, or that didn't come from this match, that really shocks me, and this is kind of getting ahead a little bit, but like before this match started, I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong about this, wasn't Gallows and Anderson already in the ring? Or did it show their
I think
entrance?
So. I think they were in the ring already.
Either way, they didn't really have a lot to do with this match. I mean, there was nobody really, the announcers weren't really talking about them or nothing. It kind of really seemed like the Raw creative didn't really have anything going for them right now other than just to throw them in this 4-on-4 match. Based off that, I was kind of expecting to see them get moved over to SmackDown.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Yeah, so
they're still on Raw.
And we didn't see Enzo and Cass at all in this episode either, did we?
We saw them briefly backstage.
Talking to Seth.
Yeah, that was
so we see them for a second. They didn't participate in any matches, but they don't move. They don't change places either. So, but after that match, after that win, we had the segment of Dana Brooke reading the book that says how to be your own protege. When Emma walks up and is like, "Let's go. You're coming with me. You were my protege before you were Charlotte. So come on." And Dana's just like, "I'm gonna be my own now.
I'm my own person.
Yeah.
I listen to nobody."
And she walks off, and Emma just looks disgusted.
It's kind of a cringeworthy segment. Actually, I didn't really care. I do not like Dana Brooke. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's not really any wrestlers I wish ill will towards. I mean, I want them to improve and achieve that dream. Because, I mean, Lord knows I would have... if I had that opportunity, I would take it. But, I cannot stand Dana Brooke right now. And Emma was... This was just a bad segment. So we'll move on.
But then we had the segment with Sasha Banks and Bayley coming out. And they're just talking.
Thought we were going to have a Sasha Banks heel turn final. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen now.
I don't think
at least not
it's
anytime
too late.
soon. Like this past Monday was the last time they could have probably done that,
especially with all the new changes. There's no way. But so they're just sitting there having a good old time.
Sasha's basically telling Bayley, she's proud of her for winning the championship at WrestleMania and having her moment, but that moment's now over, and she's coming for that championship.
Yeah. But when she says all that, Alexa Bliss's music hits.
Yes, Little Miss Bliss.
Alexa comes out.
Favorite diva, or
she's gonna take
favorite
over.
women's wrestler on SmackDown Live.
So she's gonna take over Raw apparently. Then Mickey James music hits, and Mickey James comes out, and
I agree with Alexa Bliss getting moved over. I don't know if I agree with Mickey James because she just re-debuted not that long ago, so she's only been on SmackDown for just a few months, and it's almost like we've seen enough of Alexa Bliss and Mickey James at this point that I was really excited to see Alexa Bliss feud with new people like Bayley and Sasha Banks, but now Mickey James is back in the fray, and now we're probably going to just see that get rehashed every other week or something. So I like Mickey James. She was one of my favorite women wrestlers back in the day before she left WWE the first time. And I like her now. She still wrestles pretty well. But I personally think she needed to stay on SmackDown for a little bit longer.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, she didn't get to do much because before she even gets in the ring, Nia Jax runs out.
No, she was trying to make a big deal about it, and she gets run over by Nia Jax.
Yeah, Nia Jax destroys her, and then Banks gets out of the ring, and then Bayley gets hit with a Samoan drop, and then Jax holds the belt and is just like, "This is my belt now." So apparently we're going to try to have a Nia Jax push here. I don't
probably
know.
Like a triple threat or something, honestly. I don't think it'll be a one-on-one. But
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't surprise me. I forget about this, that the commentating team did actually reveal what was wrong with Roman Reigns. Supposedly, after all that. He supposedly suffered cracked ribs, internal injuries, and a possible separated shoulder after Braun Strowman took him to Paintown. So yeah, he'll be back next week.
Yeah, he'll be back.
He's probably working a house show tonight as we speak. But he got fucked up, according to the Raw announce team. Of course, they say that, and he's probably just in the back eating a pizza as they're talking. So anyway, so after that, we get to our main event. Yes, it is Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens, U.S. champion versus Intercontinental champion. No champion. It's not a championship match. Just a one-on-one. Which between two good wrestlers, put up a pretty good match. Pretty fun, entertaining to watch match. Which Ambrose wins, goes over clean against.
And I will say, as soon as Ambrose won it, in my opinion, that kind of told me cemented that for sure. Kevin was going to be leaving,
swapping over.
Yeah, but yeah. So Dean's sitting there celebrating when Jericho's music hits, and
which kind of shocked me. I didn't actually think he was going to be there that night.
Yeah, but he comes out and hits Owens with a code breaker, and Y2J chant breaks out and has the show comes to its end.
Yep.
So that was Raw.
So overall, good match, good show of Raw. It was a fun match.
What'd you give it out of scale of 5? What'd you give it?
3.5. I mean, 4 maybe.
I'd probably give about 3.5.
It was fun. It was entertaining. I mean, it was good to watch. And the segment between Braun and Roman deserves a 5. Deserves a 5-star.
That was the highest point.
If Dave Meltzer rated segments, he would rate that a 5-star review. So anyway, so just to recap, from what we found on Raw, the superstars that switched from SmackDown to Raw was Miz Maurice, Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt, Alexa Bliss, Mickey James, Apollo Crews, Kalisto, Heath Slater and Rhino, and Kurt Hawkins. And that was the superstars that we got from the blue brand over to the red. So that leads us into Tuesday night, SmackDown Live. We immediately open the show with, lo and behold, Kevin Owens.
Yep.
Freshly shaved, baby-faced Kevin Owens.
Well,
in a suit.
Not baby.
Well, with the way Kevin Owens looks, without a beard, even if it's a stubble.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But babyface means a different thing.
Yeah, I know. Not completely babyface, but I mean, it looked like he took a razor, no guard, and just shaved his beard off. So yeah, that as if we didn't already know, U.S. champion Kevin Owens is now
the face of America.
The face of America, even though he's from Canada, is now on SmackDown Live. Comes out in a suit, and basically they're in Boston, telling the Boston crowd that Canadians are just flat out better than Boston. That they shouldn't be booing him. They should be celebrating him. Since he is better and he makes better athletes, he's the face of America. Only to get interrupted by Baron Corbin, who is still on SmackDown Live, obviously. Baron agrees that yes, Owens could probably beat up anybody, most of everybody in the locker room, but he cannot beat up Baron Corbin. So
I hate when WWE superstars talking in third person though. Like, it bothers me. Well,
did he actually say his name right there?
I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he said, but you can't beat.
Well, you know what?
Corbin,
The Rock made a living off of talking.
I know The Rock is like one exception. Like he
opened those floodgates. Now everybody's ready to do it. So Baron Corbin comes out, basically tells Owens that he's going to have to defend that championship against Corbin at some point, and that Corbin's going to take it from him. Only for them both to get interrupted by Sami Zayn, who is now on SmackDown. So he got swept over after all. Of course, Kevin Owens is in shock by this because given his and Sami's history, it's like no matter where Kevin Owens goes, Sami Zayn's always right behind him.
Yeah.
So we're going to see more of that. Of course, Sami Zayn comes out, says he's finally on SmackDown Live. Corbin says that nobody cares, which I do. I'm actually excited to see Sami Zayn.
I'm pretty hyped.
Yep.
Which we actually get fruit of that at the end of the episode. So.
Truth. So. Then Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, and Kevin Owens are all interrupted. But AJ Styles comes out to a pretty big pop. Tells Kevin Owens to fuck off. This is not his show. That this is still the house that AJ Styles built. That this is the show that he made, and that this is all about him. So then you got n.W.bro come out to a big pop and basically says Kevin Owens has still got to defend the championship against Chris Jericho at Payback. Whoever wins that championship match will be on SmackDown. So that's interesting because what if Kevin Owens loses? Does he just get shipped back to Raw?
I guess, but I mean, we're not
going to see it. But
yeah, it's kind of like the whole Bray Wyatt thing. Like, it's not going to happen because Jericho's leaving. But if it did, that'd be weird.
It contradicts something that happened last year whenever they first had the brand split, because it's almost like Daniel Bryan got Owens to come over for the U.S. title, but he only got the title, not the title holder.
Yeah.
Whereas last year when they had the draft, he drafted the Miz for the Intercontinental title, not because of the Miz, but for the Intercontinental title. But even after all that, Miz was still on SmackDown no matter what happened.
Yeah.
So it kind of contradicts what happens last year, but like we said, Owens is going to win that match. He's going to be on SmackDown Live, and then Chris Jericho is going to go tour with Fozzy for a little bit. Yeah. So that's how that's going to work out. Still just kind of a weird detail about that whole rivalry in the first place. But anyway, what Daniel Bryan came out to set up was that they needed a number one contender for after the U.S. Championship match at Payback. So they're having a triple threat against Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, and AJ Styles to determine said number one contender for the U.S. title after Payback. So which will be our main event at the end of the night. So after that, let's see here. Usos have to defend against American Alpha, which got set up during Talking Smack last week. We come back to Randy Orton versus Eric Rowan. Nothing spectacularly interesting. No, except for midway through the match. I mean, Randy Orton's got the upper hand throughout the entire match mostly. Midway through it, Bray Wyatt comes up on the screen and says, you dirty viper, I'm gonna wreck your home or something.
Okay.
Goes off the.
I'm intimidated.
When the Titantron cuts off and the lights come back on, Eric Rowan's out of the ring. Randy Orton gets out and immediately eats still stares from Eric Rowan to a DQ. And of course Eric tosses him back in the ring and hits him with a full Nelson Slam, and Rowan stands tall. So strong showing from our champion on SmackDown to open the show up.
But he won
by DQ. Good for him. So coming up after that, we have the championship match between the Usos and American Alpha. Pretty solid match. Pretty fun to watch.
Decent, yeah.
Again, nothing really to just say about this other than the fact that the Usos retained. So that pretty much, I think, blows off. Especially considering what happened afterwards. Primo and Epico showed up and attacked Chad Gable, and to reveal that they're now part of the tag team division. So they've swapped over from Raw over to SmackDown.
Yeah. And
I guess, I don't know if that's just them making their stamp in the tag team division of SmackDown, or if they're actually setting up a feud between Primo and Epico and American Alpha. But either way, I feel like last night's match was the official write-off between the Usos and American Alpha. So now the Usos are going to go on to defend against somebody else, I'm sure. After that, we got the match of the night. This blew the doors off the building. This was a fantastic match. You got Mojo Rawley versus Jinder Mahal. Revealing that Jinder Mahal has jumped over to SmackDown, so now he can job on SmackDown.
Maybe he's on both. Like maybe they're gonna have him.
Maybe he's just the WWE
Universal jobber.
Yeah. You know what? Now that I'm looking at this, I don't think I'll watch this match because I did not know Rob Gronkowski was even in the building.
Yeah, he got involved.
I see that now.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed this. I must have been taking care of my kid or something.
But he like threw beer in Jinder's face and.
Is it distract him and Mojo picks up the win?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, Mojo stands tall.
Riding high. Yeah. After that WrestleMania Battle Royale win.
Thanks to his friends that,
Gronkowski.
Pats, baby. Woo! Anyway.
Fuck off. Anyway. For those of you that don't know, my brother is a Patriots fan. I'm a Falcons fan, and
we're still not over it.
We still don't talk about it. I don't talk about it. Ian probably talks about it. I don't talk about it. So moving on. Mojo's celebrating with Gronk. Great. Whoopie-doo. Moving on, we have Shane McMahon. He's addressing the women's division on SmackDown. He brings the entire SmackDown...
he seems as a swerve.
Yeah, a little bit. Or not a little bit. Definitely. He brings the entire existing SmackDown women's roster out, which contains Naomi, Natalya, Carmella, Becky Lynch,
and James Ellsworth.
Because he's out there with Carmella. He's congratulating Naomi. James takes the mic and says that Naomi's terrible champion. Carmella's the only reason people tune into SmackDown to watch her and him. Of course, Naomi takes the mic back and tells her to calm Ellsworth down before she,
calls him a side chick.
Yeah, calls him a side chick and says, you better calm your side chick down before I take him out or something. I don't know.
She threatens him.
So she gives the mic back to Shane. Shane's like, okay, that was weird. So moving on, he's going to introduce the next member of the roster of the Divas division, coming right over from Raw. Says it's a
second generation
superstar. Her dad was one of the greatest of all time, a Hall of Famer. Give it up for Tamina. And Tamina's back on SmackDown. Holy fucking shit. Moving on. So, kind of swerves the crowd a little bit. Everyone's obviously thinking he's talking about Charlotte because of the way he did that. Which he acknowledges. He's like, I guess you guys thought I was talking about somebody else. Maybe I was. So here's Charlotte. And then Charlotte comes down. So Charlotte has swapped over from Raw to SmackDown.
Which, it was kind of a neat little swerve. But it also, to me, was just like, fuck Tamina, right? Like, it pretty much was like, guys, check out Tamina. And everyone's just like, oh.
I think Tamina traditionally plays heel.
I mean, she does,
based off what I remember from her, but she legitimately did not look like she was excited about debuting again this way.
Yeah, she's like, and she comes out and she's like, yeah, and then they're like, I'm just kidding Charlotte, and Charlotte's
no, you're not wrong, because it's kind of like, it's sort of like him saying like, okay, well, Charlotte's better. I mean,
yeah,
it definitely shadows her debut.
Yeah, absolutely.
By swerving the crowd. But that's the way they decided to go with it, and that's what they did. So Charlotte's over on SmackDown, which I think would look pretty good.
Absolutely. Then after commercial, we come back and they reveal that Rusev and Sin Cara are now part of SmackDown Live, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Was the counter to the 205 Live thing that we were talking about, the cruiserweight division at least. Like, Sin Cara should be in that. Like,
it doesn't make sense on two hands.
Yeah.
On one hand, it doesn't make sense because Sin Cara should stay with the cruiserweights.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the best thing Sin Cara or Kalisto has ever done is when they were the Lucha Dragons.
Yeah.
And now you've kept them split apart, so there's no reunion there happening anytime soon. Individually, nothing against these guys, but no one cares about Sin Cara or Kalisto on their own.
Yeah.
But as the Lucha Dragons, they were fun to watch. They were a good tag team, and the WWE tag team division on either show is not extremely strong. They need about all the help they can get, and they can afford a tag team through Lucha Dragons, but they're not taking that route with it.
Yeah, so
especially since, given the next match, they've lost a tag team in the last couple of weeks.
It's true.
So that's going to bring us to singles competition between Todd Dillinger and Aiden English. Now, Aiden English, as you all know, used to be a part of a tag team called the Vaudevillains with Simon Gotch, but Simon Gotch just got released.
He asked about a week release, apparently. So.
Yeah, mutual agreement, I think. Yeah. But anyway, regardless, he's no longer a part of the company as of about a week ago or so. So Aiden English is on his own now, which between the two of them, I think if either one would have single success, it would be Aiden English. Because I mean, he's got a pretty good wrestling physique, and he's a pretty good wrestler in general, and I think he could play a good just heel like scoundrel character.
Yeah,
you know, kind of keep that same gimmick that he currently has, but maybe sort of evolve it a little bit to be more of a singles act. But I think he could still be a good wrestler. I mean, he's got plenty of. I mean, he's Eddie Guerrero's son-in-law, you know, which I don't think he actually knew Eddie, but. My point is, he's got access to all kinds of like help and stuff around him, so he has the potential to be a really good wrestler. And I like Aiden English just in general. You know, I don't by no means have any posters of him or nothing like that. But of course, he jobs that he puts Ty Dillinger over.
Yeah.
Who was on NXT? Who's wrestling on NXT next week in a steel cage match against Sanity against shit. What's the guy's name from Sanity? Used to be on TNA. Eric Young.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, I think he's wrestling Eric Young in a steel cage match on NXT next week. His final NXT match, but that's weird how he debuted on SmackDown last week, and he's still got to wrestle his last match in NXT. But hey, whatever. It'll give him a proper farewell from NXT.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, he's got to put Young over in that match, right? Yeah, he's got nothing. Dillinger has nothing to lose, but Young has everything to gain from winning that match.
Absolutely.
So,
but then another commercial. When we come back from the commercial, they announced that Lana's there in SmackDown too, which I've kind of thought was a given. That since Rusev.
She's not a wrestler.
Yeah,
she's just Rusev's manager.
Yeah.
She wrestled. To my knowledge, she has wrestled one match, and that was a part of the Divas or the women's tag team at WrestleMania last year or 2 years ago. So, yeah, duh. I mean, that's big surprise that she's following Rusev over to SmackDown Live. I don't know why they had to make a separate announcement for that.
But then Dolph Ziggler,
we come back and he's in the ring, and he's basically pulling a Kurt Hawkins saying, "I don't, everybody needs to shut up about what's going on in WWE right now, Superstar Shakeup, and talk about me." It makes him sick that they're talking about SmackDown or their shiny new toys who will just get old after a couple of weeks, and he gets interrupted by none other than Shinsuke Nakamura.
Whoa.
Now, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned during the Raw recap that Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor were probably my favorite possible feud coming out of all this. I'll be honest, love him or hate him, I've always been a big fan of Dolph Ziggler.
I think he's one of the best sellers in the business.
He is one of the best, definitely one of the best sellers. Almost a little too over the top sometimes, but he's a really good seller. And he has the potential to put on some good matches. Like the match he had against The Miz last year for the Intercontinental title, the one he actually won, was a fantastic match. Best match of the night at, what was it, No Mercy? I think it was No Mercy pay-per-view when that happened. So he has good potential to put on a really good match. Of course, we know what Nakamura is made of. I think this is a fantastic starting feud for Shinsuke.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, obviously Shinsuke is going to go over in this feud.
He has to.
He has to go over in this feud. But, I mean, this is a really good feud to put him in against kind of a seasoned veteran in Ziggler to see how Shinsuke is actually going to do in the main roster and in main roster matches, So, I'm really excited to see how this goes. I think they can, honestly, I'm not lying here. I think they have the potential to put on like a 4.5 to 5-star match.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, Shinsuke alone has that potential. And then Dolph Ziggler, he knows what to do to make him look good. He's not a good winner.
So you telling me that Shinsuke can wrestle himself and put on a 5-star match?
Probably. His entrance is 5 stars, so I mean that's all he needs. So yeah, I'm excited to see that. Basically, Shinsuke comes out to interrupt, doesn't say a word, and Ziggler says, "Can I help you?" Of course, Shinsuke is just sort of giving him that crazy like Shinsuke look, and the crowd's chanting his theme song. And Ziggler says, "I guess you don't know who I am. Matter of fact, I don't even know who you are. So, who are you exactly?" And after some kind of back and forth with the crowd, Shinsuke finally gets the mic and says, "You want to know who I am? I am Shinsuke Nakamura." And Ziggler's like, he's like, "Okay, I get it. I'll leave you to it then." Starts to walk off, tries to come back, hit him with a super kick, which Nakamura grabs.
Yeah.
And pushes him down and does his little "come on" thing that he does, and Ziggler's like, "You want to go right now? Fuck it," and just leaves.
Yeah, and and Nakamura takes his bow.
Yeah. Overall, hey, you know what? Now that I think about this, I wish this was last week. I wish this was how Nakamura debuted.
Yeah, because
that would have been way more exciting. Because last week he didn't do anything. He just came out to the ring and danced and left. Yeah. Interrupted the Miz, but that led to nothing.
Yeah.
If he had debuted like this last week, I think the roof would have blown off the place.
Yeah.
Honestly. But either way, this was still a really cool segment, and I can't wait to see. I imagine they'll have a match at Backlash, as early as Backlash.
Yeah.
So maybe Payback. Evidently Payback's just open to anybody. Fuck.
Come all.
Yeah. So that's that. After that, it's revealed that New Day has been swapped over to SmackDown Live. Now this was probably the most shocking swap over I've seen so far.
I didn't actually see this one. I don't know why I missed it. I might have been working during this one, but I didn't see it. Did they actually say all 3 members, or did they say New Day?
What they did was they showed a graphic of all 3 members, and it said New Day is coming to SmackDown Live. And when it came back, the commentators were saying like, "Hey, we just found out New Day is coming to SmackDown Live." So
it's going to be all 3 of them. Okay,
yeah.
I thought this might be a chance to separate them, like have 2 of them, like have New Day stay a tag team. It'd be Big E and Xavier.
With the possibility of bringing on a third person somewhere.
Maybe, and then have Kofi stay on Raw and start doing Kofi things again.
Yeah.
But
so that would have been interesting if they'd taken that route and, like I said, did replace Kofi on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And then maybe somewhere down the line when they all get put back together, it's just a 4. Like, you know, maybe at pay-per-views or something, if they all just get in the same room together.
Yeah.
Kind of do the classic New Day thing where Kofi walks up and, you know, the other members are kind of looking down, and Kofi's like, you know, so what's going, who's this? What's going on here? And they're like, well, you know, you weren't with us no more. We needed a third guy. And they'd be like, okay, cool, I can dig that. And it's just a 4-piece, and they just kind of, that would have been cool, but that's not the route they took. All 3 members are coming over to SmackDown. So.
Okay. But,
just finally bringing on Titus O'Neil to join New Day after all the shit that he put them through.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So, that brings us to... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, then it brings us to the main event of the night, the number 1 contendership.
Triple threat match. AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn for what you just said. Number 1 contendership for the WWE United States title after Kevin Owens defends it at Payback. Really... Honestly, I thought it was a pretty strong showing from all 3 members.
Yeah, it was a good match.
You can expect it from AJ Styles. You can expect it from Sami Zayn. Baron Corbin's still kind of on the fence.
Can be hit or miss.
Yeah, can be hit or miss. But he's been doing good lately. He's taken opportunities that WWE have given him, and you know, ran about as far as he could with it by himself. So, good match from all 3 guys. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth between all 3 of them. I thought they had pretty good chemistry in the ring.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, You, at the end of the match, you get Sami hitting Corbin off the apron with a haluva kick, only to turn around and take a phenomenal forearm, which gives the win to AJ Styles.
Yep.
So we have AJ Styles as number 1 contender, who will be somewhere down the line taking on Kevin Owens or Chris Jericho, more than guaranteed Kevin Owens, for the United States Championship. Which I wouldn't.
That's a feud I'm looking forward to.
Could go either way, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ just wins that from him. But yeah, so that's how we close. No, is that how we close the show?
That's it. That's the end of the show.
For some reason, I thought there might have been like
that was it. But that brings it to being with the going from Raw to SmackDown. That gives you Tamina, Jinder Mahal, Sin Cara, the Shining Stars, Sami Zayn, Lana, Rusev, New Day, Charlotte Flair, and the winner of Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, which is going to be Kevin Owens.
Which is Kevin Owens.
Yeah. So, but overall, this show, I feel like the SmackDown was a little bit better than the Raw.
Yeah, well, SmackDown was definitely better than last week's episode.
Yeah, if I was rating it, you know, I give Raw a 3.5. I'd probably do like a 4.2 on this.
I'd just give it a solid 4 just to get that edge over Raw.
Yeah,
they were both really fun shows to watch. But yeah, SmackDown was really good this week.
Yeah,
and it got me really excited. I'm excited about Shinsuke Ziggler. I'm excited about Styles versus Kevin Owens. I'm excited about Orton versus Wyatt.
Weird.
Anyway.
It's weird. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing.
I'm not so excited about that. I mean, we know Orton's going to win that. Wyatt's going to go full-time to Raw and then feud with Finn Balor.
Yeah, which is hype.
Which is fine. I just kind of wish they'd get the Orton-Wyatt feud out of the way.
Yeah. Sooner rather than later. But overall, that was the 2 shows.
That was your week in WWE. Now, was there any news or anything that...
Well, there was the thing we were talking about before we started about JBL. He apparently it's come out like this past weekend that some news has surfaced about him doing some backstage bullying, which doesn't surprise me at all.
Given his history.
Yeah.
This is not, by no means the first time we've heard this.
Yeah, he's done it before. So
and a lot of people have blamed, like, obviously with Morrow, who was commentating on SmackDown for like a year or so.
Yeah.
You know, he's been missing in action. I don't think he's actually with the... I think he's officially... Maybe officially or unofficially done.
He just officially left,
yeah. Which that came... A lot of that came to light that he deals with severe depression and things like that. So in that respect, you know, we wish him the best and hope he's able to overcome that.
Absolutely.
But there's been a lot of reports saying that he took a fair share of bullying from JBL during their entire, like, career together.
And it's weird to me because I've also seen a lot of news where a lot of viewers, a lot of people who came to SmackDown got like escorted out of the building because they had signs talking
either escorted out or they just had their signs confiscated.
I saw where a few people got escorted out, and
well, you saw the guy with the sign like right behind JBL.
JBL bullied me,
and there was a picture of him getting escorted out of the arena.
So now, don't get me wrong, it is definitely bad for PR for people to have signs like that at your show. So I can pretty much agree with them taking those signs, but not escorting the people out.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's even worse for PR to have that guy still doing his commentating with supposedly no consequences when this is coming out like this, especially with WWE being as big as they are about like anti-bullying.
Right.
So that's weird to me that
they've got a charity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The Be a Star campaign.
That's what I'm saying.
That whole thing's about anti-bullying.
Yeah, so...
And that's a WWE run organization.
So it's crazy to me that it seems so far that JBL's...
They're just sweeping it under the rug.
So,
now, I know a lot of people really want him to get fired, okay? I'm not saying he should get fired. I'm not saying he shouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, though, there needs to be some kind of action that takes place.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, you can't just do this kind of stuff.
Even if it's just like a public apology or something, something needs to happen. But they're just playing it off like nothing happened. And at this point, there's a lot of speculation that Vince McMahon encourages this kind of behavior. Like, he looks at JBL as kind of like an enforcer of types backstage. And that's no good. That is not how you do it. Yeah. So, don't get me wrong. I'm not a billionaire who runs the biggest wrestling promotion in the world, but you're pissing off a lot of people.
Yeah, especially
by not doing anything about it.
Especially, like we said, having those charities and stuff like you have. Yeah, specifically going against it.
Now, I heard something today. I wish I actually went back and made note of this before we started, but somebody involved. I don't know if it was somebody involved with Morrow or somebody just involved with WWE or whatever, but someone was kind of talking about it and downplayed all these rumors about JBL bullying. Like, yeah, maybe once upon a time he did, but that's his accusation. What's the word I'm looking for? Accusations.
Yeah, accusations.
That he does it now is false. That he's not as bad as what people are making him out to be.
Yeah.
But again, that was just one source that I heard from somebody close to the situation. Everyone else is acting like it's a pretty big deal, which it is. If he's bullying anybody, it needs to be taken care of in some extent. Something needs to be done. Doing nothing is probably the worst thing you can do in this situation. And there's been things in the past that WWE's been able to just sweep under the rug and not talk about and just ignore. But this is blown up. This has become huge news. Jonathan Coachman on ESPN got asked about this a few days ago, and he replied like, I don't usually respond to rumors. Well, newsflash, Coach, it's not a rumor anymore. This is mainstream news now.
Yeah,
this is blown up, so they've got to do something.
Yeah, but that's us.
Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it as far as news. JBL bullying, and then Simon Gotch got released last week, and then Shibata from New Japan may or may not be legitimately seriously hurt. So we'll just kind of have to see what all happens here. But
I think it's legit. But
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm kind of leaning towards that myself.
Yeah.
Other than that wraps up your week in wrestling as far as WWE is concerned, and a little bit of New Japan. I'm glad that as soon as the second episode, we got to talk about New Japan, like a different promotion besides WWE, so we can kind of get a little variety. And that's kind of the plan we have going forward. What I should have done when we started this episode off was plug our social media, but I'll go ahead and do that now. So we've got a Twitter, we've got a YouTube, we got an email, got a Facebook, got all that set up now. Our username for everything is n.W.bro podcast. All one word, no periods. n.W.bro podcast. That's at Facebook, at Twitter, at Gmail, n.W.bro podcast at gmail.com is our email. And YouTube, yes. The username on YouTube is the same thing. So, right now, since we're just starting off, and this is extremely experimental that we're just hoping the best for, but since we're just starting off, I mean, we're not going to go off and pay for like a full year's worth of podcast hosting and anything like that until we kind of see how this is being received. So in the meantime, until we cross that line, basically we're just uploading the podcast via YouTube, and in our YouTube there is a link to download an MP3 file of the same episode. So right now that's what we're going to do. We could do like a free service like we've done in the past with previous projects, but with as rapidly as we're wanting to push these out at least once a week, there's no free service on the planet that's going to let us get all these episodes uploaded.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, right now I think YouTube and an MP3 download will be sufficient, and we'll just kind of see how this works out. If you guys have any feedback for us, anything, let us know via one of our social media accounts. We're taking in feedback. I mean, like I said, this is experimental. We're still trying to structure the format of the show, all that good stuff. We really want to make this something great and give you guys solid entertainment for you guys to listen to, at work or when you're at home, something, when you're just in when you want to hear some wrestling, we really want you guys to come to us and listen to what we got to say and let us know some feedback that we can take into consideration. Talk to us. We want to hang out with you guys. We want to talk to you guys. We want to get to know you guys better. We want to be friends. We don't want you guys to be fans. We want you guys to be friends of the show.
Yeah. And if y'all ever have any questions or comments or anything like that, please leave them.
Yeah, definitely. Because if we can start getting enough of those, we'll start throwing in a little Q&A at the end of the episodes. We'll do answer some questions from Twitter. We'll answer some questions from email, that type of thing. So we want this to be Facebook, whatever. Yeah. So we want this to be interactive as well. And then somewhere down the line, we'll start doing more than just podcasts. We'll WWE 2K videos, things like something. We'll start going outside the box.
I'll powerbomb Rhett through the table.
I'll take a bump for the podcast. I'll do it. But, we want this to evolve. I mean, we want to get better equipment. Because right now, all we're using is Audacity and a blue Yeti mic.
This is a Snowball.
Snowball, yeah. We're using a Snowball mic.
Yeah.
It works fine when you're starting off, but we want better equipment. We want to... we want to get to where like Steve and Larson or other big podcasters are, where they got an actual setup and giving you guys good quality content.
Yeah,
so that's our plan.
Even film them,
eventually. Yeah. We want to do film, but do video, so you guys can actually know what we look like, that type of thing.
Because we're too good looking not to be on video,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, our faces are meant to be seen.
You're missing out. Like our voices are nice, but. Whew.
But so all we want to do from this point on is to evolve, and we welcome y'all's help to do that with. So reach out to us, questions, comments, feedback, whatever you got. Get in touch with us. We'd be more than happy to chat with you guys and to answer some questions on air. But other than that, I think that's going to pretty much go ahead and sign us off. So you got any ending comments?
No,
any final thoughts?
Just stay golden, pony boy.
Great. And all right, so I'll go ahead and sign us off. So this has been the n.W.bro Wrestling Podcast. Tune in, keep up, staying tuned. Yeah. Stay tuned. God damn, this is two episodes in. I fucked up the ending.
You messed up the ending. Yep.
Jesus Christ, I'll get the hang of that one day.
No, it's gonna be a running gimmick.
It might be. God, that's gonna stick with me forever then.
Yeah.
So just stay tuned, guys. Keep on the lookout for next week's episode, where we'll discuss more Raw, more SmackDown, and anything else that happens to be going on this week.
The biggest news.
And until we talk to you again, we'll see y'all later.